Good morning. I'm Dr. Christina Caro, and I'm a licensed clinical psychologist in California. Today, I wanted to share some ideas on how to improve your health and well-being through the practice of gratitude. So, research on gratitude has shown that there is documented physical, mental, and emotional benefits from cultivating a regular practice of gratitude. There was one study where they had participants divide into three groups. One group was asked to journal every week about experiences or things that happened to them that they were grateful for. Another group was asked to journal about those things that they experienced that were sort of irritating or frustrating or problems that they had encountered. And a final group it was the control group, and they were just asked to journal about anything that happened during their week. So after 10 weeks and doing some reassessments, what they found was that the group that practiced the journaling of things that they were grateful for during the week, they felt better about their lives, they were more optimistic, they exercised more, and they had fewer visits to the doctors. There's another study that has demonstrated that acts of gratitude increased our feelings of happiness in a sustained way and actually more effectively than any other intervention. So it was pretty remarkable that by cultivating a practice of gratitude, the people's sense of happiness was sustained for months after doing the practice. Now, the health benefits, they're still doing some research on this, but some of the things that they've discovered is that people who engage in a regular gratitude practice have improved sleep. And one of the reasons why they think that is because people are not going to bed ruminating about things that aggravate them, which tends to keep them more tense and stressed out. By having a gratitude practice, they found that people not only fell asleep faster, but they also stayed asleep. Now, it's possible that some of these other benefits are a result of the improved sleep, but they also found that people who had a regular gratitude practice also experienced less inflammation, improved heart health, and also had a boosted immune system, which is why we're talking about this today, because during this COVID crisis, we want to do everything that we can to strengthen and boost our immune system. Now, I'm going to be posting some articles in the description section of the video so that you can read about these studies yourself. Now, during this stay-at-home period, this is a great opportunity to start cultivating and developing a gratitude practice that you can take forward even after this crisis is over. So, what they have found and what's important to know is that the benefits that they're finding from gratitude practices does require that it's something that you do consistently and over time. So in some studies where they had people do some sort of gratitude practice, but only for 2 or 3 weeks, they did not find the benefits from the practice. So this is really something that you would make a decision that you want this to be part of your overall health and wellness routine. And this is a perfect time to practice because you can make the commitment today to say, I'm going to use this stay-at-home period, which is, planned to go on for a few weeks to possibly a couple months, to start learning to cultivate a gratitude practice. So I'm going to give you 3 ideas of things that you can do to really start moving in that direction. The first thing is as simple as be a gratitude journal. So in a gratitude journal, you want to jot down things that have happened during the day or during the week that you're grateful for. And these are simple things. Like it might be that you got a call from your best friend, or maybe you were trying to make pancakes and you flipped them and it didn't splatter every place. It might be, if it's spring where you are, it might be that, your vegetables are starting to come up and you have some gratitude that you just have this time to spend in your garden. So we're not looking at like some sort of, I got an inheritance, I'm so grateful for that. This is really about training your brain to sort of reorient towards those things in our life that happen every day, but that we tend to overlook. It's starting to look at those things, to take a moment, to take a pause, and to allow yourself to experience feeling gratitude. Now, if you watch my other videos, you might have learned that our brain is naturally wired to be more threat assessing and sort of worrying and what's the next danger, because our brain is wired to keep us safe. So practice is really important because it is going against the primitive part of our brain that wants to constantly be focusing on scarcity and threat and danger. We have to say that we have an evolved brain, and we really want to start cultivating that relationship with it so that our main way of being in the world is one with optimism, a sense of gratitude, and a sense of abundance. So one of the things that is very simple, that happens every single day and every second or so, that we can be grateful for, is just the ability to take a breath with ease. And particularly during this time with COVID-19, which is an upper respiratory disease, to stop for a moment. If you're home right now and you're healthy, just stop for a moment to think about how you don't actually have to put energy into thinking about breathing. You just breathe. You inhale, and on its own, your body exhales. And that's something in mindfulness meditation, we use the focus on the breath as a practice for focusing our attention. The thing is, I have asthma, and I remember when I was reading about this in mindfulness practice, as Buddhist monk Thich Nhat Hanh, and in one of his books, he wrote about this. He said, there are people out there who have asthma, and if they have an asthma attack, like, breathing is very difficult. And I have asthma, so I know that experience of feeling my chest tighten, and then feeling anxious, and then feeling like I'm struggling to get a breath. And then he said, now think about right now in this moment. Notice that you can breathe with ease. And I've felt just an overwhelming, because I have that experience of having asthma. It was the first time I ever consciously realized that most of the time, 99% of the time, I'm just breathing. And I felt an immense wave of gratitude in that moment. So using your breath to help you, if you had sort of a crappy week and you're just saying, I don't have anything to be grateful for, you always have your breath. You could always say, I woke up today. I'm grateful for that. If you happen to be in a home, because I have some clients who that's not their situation right now, it's like, wow, I'm in a home. I have a safe place to be. Like, there's a lot of ordinary things every single day that we can be grateful for. And this is just about practicing putting your attention on that. Now, that's the foundation. And from there, everything else can come from it. Because when we start practicing gratitude and really allowing ourselves to fill up and connect with this experience, that there are infinite moments in our day that we can be grateful, then we start to realize that we have some power over what our mind, is going to do to us. Like, are we going to let our mind make us anxious and fearful and angry and focusing on scarcity? Or are we going to choose to have our mind focus on just simple things that bring us joy or bring us ease, or things that we can be grateful for? So this threat assessing brain of ours has an illusion that there's always scarcity because it's trying to keep us safe. So this is just starting to say, wow, you know what? I can choose today to be in the world in a different way and to come from a place of abundance and gratitude. So from that, we want to actually take that gratitude and then share it through acts of kindness. So some of the things that, say you're at home, you're healthy, maybe you're even lucky enough to be able to work from home, so you don't have the same financial crisis that other people are experiencing. What can you do with that energy? Like, you might want to use it to maybe play a little bit longer with your kid in the evening, or maybe you have a neighbor who you want to check on and make sure that they're getting their groceries. There might be volunteer opportunities. I know in my community, there's a nonprofit that is collecting donations of food, and then distributing it out to people who maybe say were reliant on the school lunch for getting their meals, or they lost their job and it's this is going to be sort of a lifeline until things get back to normal. Maybe it's just in your own home and it's about helping your partner out. Maybe do a chore that they normally do all the time, and an act of kindness would be like, hey, why don't you sit down tonight, I'll take care of the dishes. Now, a really important part of act of kindness is about being kind to ourselves, and that's the one that we tend to often forget. As a therapist, I work a lot with people who struggle with being kind to themselves, and they tend to have a lot of self-criticism. I certainly struggled with that myself. And so this is a great opportunity to learn to be kind to yourself, primarily by allowing yourself to just be who you are, just where you are right here, right now. Practicing the awareness that you're already enough, you're already okay, and you're already worthy of love and belonging. And this is something I would recommend should be really a daily part of your both your gratitude practice, and by taking that gratitude into action is, today I'm going to be compassionate with myself, or today I'm going to be patient with myself. If that inner critic comes up, I'm going to say, hey, thanks, tell it to the hand today. I'm going to be kind to myself today. When we're kind to ourselves, we have a lot more energy and motivation to be out in the world sort of as our best version of ourselves. Now, finally, an activity that you can do either yourself or especially if you have kids at home. This is something that has been broadcast in the news. If you haven't seen it, it's about taking this time to post sort of notes, letters, and cards of appreciation to all the people on the front lines and the essential workers who are really sort of taking care of us during this healthcare crisis. Now that includes the butcher at your grocery store, or the people who stock the shelves and the checkout clerk. It might be the UPS driver, the FedEx driver, or your postal delivery person. It might be this was actually one that I saw on the news that a kid did. It was so sweet. He had a big thank you note on a pole that he stuck out and handed to the guy who picked up their trash. And then they interviewed the guy afterwards, and he was just in tears because he had never gotten a thank you note, for picking up the trash. And then there's also, of course, the nurses and the doctors and all the healthcare providers who are, putting their own lives at risk right now and their health at risks. What I would recommend that whoever your clinic is that you go to, whether it's a local Kaiser or your local, family health clinic, most of these places have websites, and you can click on staff and actually get names of providers. And, that mailing address is usually somewhere on the website. And then you can just write thank you notes to these folks for all the work that they're doing. And again, this is like a really fun activity that you can do with your kids, to start helping to pass on this practice of gratitude to your children and to your family. So right now, I would just like to express my gratitude to you for spending a few minutes with me and learning about gratitude practice. And as always, I'm going to ask that you be kind to yourself and be compassionate to those around you. And if you have any suggestions for some topics that you would like covered in future videos, please leave them in the comments section here, or if you're accessing this through, say, Facebook, you can leave it as a Facebook comment, and I would be happy to try to put up a video addressing your concern. So as always, be safe, be kind, and have a wonderful day.